Welcome back to Careers and Coffee Talk. I'm your host, Laura. Today's guest is Caitlin Sarian, better known as Cybersecurity Girl. Caitlin began her professional life studying aerospace engineering and even completed a master's degree before realizing she wanted a new challenge. When a consulting firm asked if she'd be interested in cybersecurity, despite having no prior experience, Caitlin said yes. Over the next few years, she learned on the job, finding mentors who helped her grow and building a career leading cybersecurity advocacy efforts at a global scale. Today, Caitlin is the founder of Cybersecurity Girl LLC, where she uses her platform of over 1 million followers to make cybersecurity accessible, inspire the next generation, and help people protect themselves online. Caitlin's proof that cybersecurity doesn't have to be intimidating. And today she's here to kick off Cybersecurity Awareness Month and show us why. So grab your coffee and let's get into it. Caitlin, I am so thrilled to have you. Welcome and thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad it worked out with all the timing.
I know it's perfect. And you're going to kick off Cybersecurity Awareness Month. So happy
Oh,
October.
I know. I mean, October is my favorite month. It's honestly the best. I mean, I might be never sleeping, but it's the best month.
That's right. You have a very busy month ahead.
Yeah,
So you're going to need a lot of coffee to keep you going. Do you have your coffee ready?
I do, but I actually don't drink coffee. I'm a very
Ah.
weird, you know those traits where you're like, you might be a serial killer? Like, I don't
Are
drink any
you're
coffee,
not,
and I
are
don't,
you?
everyone's, yeah, everyone's like, do you like the smell? No, I don't like the smell of coffee,
Oh,
and I don't like the taste of coffee, and I've never
okay.
drank coffee, but
Okay.
I do occasionally drink tea. I drink
Okay.
a lot of water. I'm one of those girls that have like every cup around the
Yes.
protein shake, water, sometimes tea. I do drink like a ginseng, like green tea extract kind of
Okay.
drink where
Okay.
it's like it's really good. I've been drinking that forever, but it's 30 to 60 milligrams of caffeine. So I don't actually I don't need a lot.
Yeah,
I'm
that's okay. That's okay.
yeah.
You're always v full of energy every time I've seen you.
You haven't seen me when I've like done. Like I when I've done, I'm like, I can't go out because people can't see me like this. And I'm like, I'm either on or I'm not on. And I
There
always
you
tell my
go.
friends, I'm like, I'm not gonna go out because I don't want people to see me in this state because that's like not my personality, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, no, I get that. I want to go back to like little Caitlin. Like, tell me about what did you want to be? Everybody has something or like maybe 1 million things that they wanted to
Yeah.
be when they grew up. What did you want to be when you grew up?
Okay, so I liked math and science, but I
Okay.
really didn't know what was out there. My grandpa
Mm.
was a doctor and I always wanted to help people.
Yeah.
And so like really little kid Caitlin used to say that I wanted to be like a pediatrician
Oh,
because I
yeah.
loved kids and I
Uh-huh.
really wanted to help. As I got to high school, I was like, there is no way I'm going to medical school. Absolutely
Not
not.
happening.
And I honestly was like, well, I don't know what else to do because there's not real in my head. I was like, there's not really any other options, and I wanted to be a teacher. So my
Yeah.
grandma was a teacher, my aunt was a teacher, and I applied to school as an elementary education major,
Okay.
which a lot of people are like, what the heck? And I ended
Yeah.
up switching to engineering. But my parents always were like, you should do engineering. And in my head, I was just like, absolutely not. I just straight up envisioned a dirty car mechanic. That is what I thought an engineer was. And honestly, sometimes I still think that. But I didn't realize all the things that engineers do. Like, there's
Mm.
so many cool things that engineers do. And when someone started telling me that when I went to college, I was like, wow, actually. I think what put me over the edge was being a Disney Imagineer because I absolutely love roller
Oh,
coasters.
yeah.
And in my head, I'm like, well, Disney is like such an incredible place that it like brings so many people together, makes families happy. So like I get to fulfill like check that box of like making people happy, but also get to invent and
Hmm.
like be an engineer.
And
So that was
create,
always
yeah.
like for some reason I was like, that's the thing I'm gonna do. I want to be a Disney Imagineer. I never did that, but
Yeah.
you know,
Well, you did a master's degree in
yeah,
aerospace engineering, which I'm not even going to
yeah.
pretend to understand, right?
I
Like,
don't understand either. I don't know how I got through those courses. Every day
well,
I'm like, well, I used to go by quarter. I was like, should I quit
should I keep
engineering?
going?
So hard. And then I'm like, well, I already got through another quarter, like just a few
Just
more
keep
quarters.
going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I love hearing about how people kind of find their way because there, especially in cybersecurity, right? There are so many like non-traditional paths. You are a great example of that. How did you first get interested in cybersecurity?
Yeah. Well, when I first heard about cybersecurity, I
Mhm.
was doing interviews as a tech consultant and I did, Accenture, Deloitte, PwC, all the interviews. And when I was interviewing at EY, my first interview was with a lady named Danielle, who I'm still like, I talk to this day.
Yeah.
And she was like, hey, starting as like cybersecurity consulting, and in my head I was like, oh, she does not know I'm really bad at coding. Like I had to take MATLAB in college, like that
Right.
it was terrible. So MATLAB and physics were like the two classes I was terrible at.
Hmm.
I like legitimately got C minuses in all those classes.
Yeah.
And but obviously when you're like interviewing, you don't tell them that. You're like,
Yeah.
yeah, it sounds
I'm really bad at that.
yeah, it sounds
You
really
should hire
interesting. I
me.
mean, I did tell her, I'm like, I'm not the biggest fan of coding. And she's like, don't worry, you don't have to learn how to code. Like there's other areas. And I was like, oh, okay. And I remember coming back after that interview and talking to my parents. I was like, I don't know, this lady really wants me to do cyber. Like when I was interviewing at Accenture, it was like, I think it was SAP consulting and Deloitte had something similar.
Hmm.
I just was like very drawn and I really related to Danielle too. She still is such an incredible human. And I was like, oh, if she gets to be my mentor and if I don't like it, I can always switch. And so
Sure.
that was like my idea of cyber. I didn't want to tell her I was terrible at coding.
Yeah.
And that's another reason why I started the channel because it's like everyone always thinks I'm like this freaky genius expert coder and I'm terrible and I've
Not
never touched a
right.
line of code since I got in. And so that was like my first understanding of cyber. And then when I got in, I was like, this is really not like easy, but it's like really interesting stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, not what you thought it was, right? Well, shout out to Danielle for
Yeah.
for getting you into it.
Yeah.
If there are listeners, right, who are like either early students or early career professionals who are like interested in getting into cyber, but are maybe nervous about whether they belong or if, I don't know coding, what would you say to somebody who's like intimidated by maybe the technical side of things?
Yeah, so I will say like cybersecurity obviously started as coding. It was really starting as like
Mhm.
network infrastructure, all that stuff. But because cybersecurity is so ingrained in everything we do, like anytime we touch any piece of technology, we have to include cyber in it.
Right.
And there are so many areas of cyber that needs every type of brain and skill set, right? Like we need the extreme type A people for like governance, risk and compliance, helping with audits, really understanding, being organized. We need like, the psychology, sociology majors to be able to understand what goes on in a hacker's brain. We
Hmm.
need like literally like the lawyers to help make sure that we're protected or that, consumers are protected, whatever side you want to be on. But we need every single type of individual. And then especially when with AI coming about, like you just need to have I think the key to cybersecurity is staying curious and
Yeah.
love like a love of learning. And if you just love constantly growing and learning, then this is the place for you. I mean, I don't know anyone in cyber that is extremely successful that's like, oh, I do the same thing over and over again and I'm happy with it. Like we
Sure.
all just
Yeah.
love learning and growing
Hmm.
and if you want like a constantly changing environment, I know that's not for some people, but cybersecurity is just a really, really interesting. I mean, you literally can do anything. If you think about every single thing we do online, all the websites, all the
Hmm.
apps, all the everything we do on the phone, like when you go to the market and you use a rewards program, how is that being secure? How are we saving saving these people's data or not saving, but protecting people's data?
Protecting.
So
Yeah.
everything,
Yeah, I love that you put in a context. Like there are so many different, it's not one thing or another. It's not one size fits all, right? Like there's so
right?
many different ways that you can get into cyber. For somebody who is maybe like mid-career, right? There are a lot of people transitioning right now. For somebody who's looking like maybe cyber curious but doesn't have the background, what first steps do you recommend someone like that to take?
Yeah. Yeah, I will say like the technology environment from a job perspective right now
Hmm.
is very interesting with a lot of layoffs happening because
Yeah,
companies are trying to replace people with AI, but I think they're going to find out that you can't, there's certain skills that you just can't replace.
sure.
First, I would say there's so many areas of cyber you need to understand what area that like fits you best. Again, there's so many different brains that are needed to be in cyber and each brain is really good at certain areas or not even just brain but like what you're excited about is different
Yeah,
in everyone. And
yeah.
so I would find out what area of cybersecurity fits you best. We actually have a free career quiz that I offer people. It's very long and in depth. People get kind of upset. And I'm like, well, we're talking about your career here. So I would hope that you don't think this is like a standard Hogwarts quiz where you take 5 questions and you're like, you're in Hufflepuff. So we have like an in-depth 40 question quiz that helps you kind of identify that. So go to my page and you can find that. And then I would figure out what skills are needed for that area and how you can get those skills. So I say skills and not certifications. I think
Mm.
I'm in the group of like certifications. Most of the certifications mean absolutely nothing, but it's the skills that you have that you can put on your resume that relate to whatever area you want to get into. And on top of that, if you are going to get a certification, I would get a certification specifically on a tech stack. So, for
Okay.
example, like if you want to go into privacy or data protection, one of the biggest tech stack tools that almost every company, not almost every company, but many large companies use is OneTrust for privacy. So I
Okay.
would learn, and OneTrust offers, I'm pretty sure they're free, courses. If you know how to use OneTrust, companies would be like, great, we don't even need to teach you. You just know I can plug you in and you
Sure.
already know how to use it. So I'm always like, get a tech stack certification over a general certification. It's like if you were to go get a degree in science, but you need to work at a company and like the degree is helpful. You
It's got
kind
to
of need
translate
general
though.
understanding. Right.
Yeah.
But like it's not, it doesn't correlate to what you can actually do on the job. And the tech stack actually helps you plug and play into the right job.
Okay, cool. Well, we'll
Yeah.
share all of those resources and links too in the episode
Yeah.
description. And speaking of like finding your niche, right? Like you had a really successful career working in some really big organizations before you decided to branch out on your own, kind of figuring out what was right for you. What made you decide to go like all in on cybersecurity, girl?
Yeah. Well, I would have never known that I would have gone on all in. But when I started it, like I think it's almost 5 years ago now, maybe it's
Yay.
4. Um, it was only on TikTok. I was super embarrassed. I always tell people this because they're like, oh, it's like embarrassing, or I don't know. I don't want people to judge me. I was
Sure.
there. I was
Yeah,
like,
I totally
that's
get
why it's,
that.
yeah, that's why it's called Cybersecurity Girl. My name was not attached to it. It was only
Right.
on TikTok. I was like, I know no one that I work with is on TikTok because we were in
Mhm.
privacy and we were lawyers. Like they were all lawyers. And
Nobody's gonna see this.
like they're never gonna see this. I was like a director level at that point, and I was like, I'm just so embarrassed, but I was like, I'm gonna post 3 times a day
Yeah.
for a year. And if nothing happens, and this isn't for me. But I also was one of those kids that always knew like I had a bigger purpose in life. Like
Hmm.
I knew that there was something, and I was like always itching to find it. So that's why I always try different things. I'm like, this is cool, but I'm gonna get bored, and I don't think this is not my
Sure.
lane
Yeah.
right now. And so I was like, let's just try this out. Let's full send this one. And it just worked really well. I didn't start posting on LinkedIn until like a year and a half ago. And then
Okay.
Instagram, it was like 2 years ago. Because again, I was really embarrassed and I was kind of doing it on the side. But I think it's trial and error and it's having faith in yourself and also like going for it. Don't like
Hmm.
half dip your toe in the water. I
Yeah.
think I've met a lot of people that are like, "Oh, I'm scared. I kind of started it, but it's like not really working." I'm like, "Well, how much time do you spend on it or like how
Yeah.
much effort are you putting in?" And if you're like going in with it, you being like mortified, then there's no point. Like I was mortified, but I still posted 3 times a day and I did
Yeah.
cringy things and I'm like, I recognize that this is cringy, but I feel like this is what's going to get me to my end goal. And it did. So I think it just like obviously I know I'm different than a lot of people and everyone is very unique in their own way, but it's what we bring to the table, our unique
Hmm.
perspective too. I think a lot of people also try to copy what other people do. Like, oh, I really
Yeah.
want to be like this person.
Yeah.
I'm going to do what they do. And that doesn't work either. Like you
Yeah.
literally have to show up and bring yourself, your full self to the table and be vulnerable. It's like very uncomfortable at the beginning. It's still uncomfortable. I still don't
Yeah.
watch my videos. Like if I hear my voice, like if my boyfriend plays my video
It's
in the
the worst
background,
sound in the world, isn't
turn it
it?
off. Like, I need you to shut it off. He's like, I'm just trying to support. I'm like, I don't care. I don't need your view. I need you to shut it off. So yeah, I think it's just bringing your full self and not trying to be like someone else, but trying to be like you because everyone is such a unique perspective, especially
Yeah,
on how they got into cyber.
for
And I
sure.
think it needs to be shared with the world. And I'm like, the more the merrier also. Like we don't need to live in like a lack mindset. Like if you live in an abundant mindset, like everyone's gonna be successful. Like I want everyone to succeed. And I actually always tell people when I mentor them, I'm like, I want you to do better than me. Like I that is my goal is for you. It's kind of like a parent to a child, right? Like I would hope that parents want their kids to
To do
ultimately be
better.
more successful than them.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I feel like whenever people are like, I'm starting a channel, I'm like, do it. Like, we need more voices like you. We need more people like you. We need more unique perspectives. And I want you to like thrive.
Yeah. And, like you said, finding your authentic voice, like that's going to resonate for some people and it's not for others. And then somebody else comes onto the scene and maybe they resonate more for somebody else. So
Right.
I like how you put that, that there's kind of space for everybody. And I think most important is like finding your authenticity, right? Like finding your voice and what works for you. You can be
Yeah.
inspired by people. I find you very inspiring, but I probably would not be successful in trying to do exactly what you do, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's a great point. Especially for creators, I think a lot of creators talk about like the difference between like so-called, vanity metrics, things like likes and views and follows and all that, and real impact, right? Which is more about like, are people doing what you're teaching them to do? Are they actually
Right.
changing behavior? Are they learning something? How do you measure your impact beyond things like follower count?
So from the beginning, I always just said, as long as I help one person with this video, I don't care about anything else.
Yeah.
And that's to this day still the same. I don't really look at people are like, wow, people either like destroy you in the comments or whatever it is. Especially when I first started, a lot of people, TikTok was a crazy place. Now, actually, LinkedIn is kind of, all of them are crazy. They have all their forms of crazy. But
Uh-huh.
if you have a mission and you have a specific goal, like a metric that you want to hit, like there would be times where like my first viral video, I totally mispronounced pond. I
Oh,
said
I remember this. Yeah.
yes. I said pond because I didn't real like I always just went to the website. I knew it was spelled like have I been PWNED, but I'm not a gamer. So I didn't
Yeah, sure.
know.
I'm still not sure what the right answer is.
Right. It's it's pwned. Fun
Yeah.
fact. I learned that the hard way. But I remember I posted and I was getting destroyed in the comments, but it was still going to the right people. And people were
Mm,
also commenting, be like, wow, this is so helpful. And I'm like, okay,
yeah.
I had like at least one person say it was helpful. So I could care less what I
Hmm.
said. And if people judge me for saying it the wrong way, why do I care what they think? So I think it just, for me, it's having that mission of like, if I help one person, that's all that matters. And
Yeah.
um, everyone is there. And I always say, like, if you're going to post content, post value added content. You can post funny content, and that's great. But the content that does the best it's like stuff that adds value to people's lives.
Hmm. Yeah, and I think you do that really well. I mean, like I can say firsthand, I have followed some of your advice. There are things that I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that this app was following my location or, that I could do something else to protect my data. And so, I've definitely taken some of your advice firsthand or like shared it. So I can definitely say your videos have helped at least one person.
Thanks.
But
Appreciate
I
it.
think that's a big part of that is because your content is so approachable. You do a really great job at breaking down what can be really complex topics, right? In a way that even like the most non-technical person can understand. So what do you find content-wise? Like what do you find resonates most with your audience and why do you think that is?
Yeah, so I think I always try to veer away from the news, to be honest, because I think news is just doom and gloom and like a lot of scare that like they can't really do anything
It
about,
can
or
be,
if they
yeah.
just implemented the same tips that I've been telling them, then it wouldn't
Yeah.
matter either. Um, and but the news stories really hit, and I realized that even though I don't like doing news because I don't want to keep pushing it out there, that they're
Mhm.
gonna ingest news no matter what. So they might as well ingest news that they can actually do something about, or like
Sure.
at least demystify or debunk, like, hey, yeah, this is a bad thing. But if you do XYZ, it's not that big of a deal.
Hmm.
So I that's kind of what does really well. Or like my How to Delete Your Data Online series has done super, super well.
Yeah.
It's pretty much impossible to delete all your data online, but there's
Yeah.
like really good steps that you can take to remove yourself. And so those do well. But yeah, usually those two areas. And those are a little bit more doom and gloom, which I don't like.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are like, oh, when your videos come up, I'm like, oh no, I have to do
What do I
something.
need to do?
Yeah. And I'm like, well, I don't really want to like scare you. I just want to evoke some type of like action because that's like the whole point, right? Like if you're just watching and scrolling, then there's not really a point of my video. The point of my video is to
Mm.
take action and like be proactive about protecting yourself. So it's a good and bad thing. But those, yeah, the news and the delete your data series are usually like the
The big
most.
ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think on that note too, like explaining cybersecurity and like cybersecurity actions it can be a little bit like translating another language. Like you want people to get it, but you also don't want to lose meaning along the way, right?
Right.
So how do you decide what is worth simplifying or how to simplify, and what to keep a little bit more technical so it still lands with the right level of detail. How do you find that balance?
Yeah, so recently I've been like really steering away from any technical because I've realized that my audience is really just like mainstream, like
Mm,
mom and pop people,
yeah.
including myself.
Yeah.
And so I used to say like, oh, the way I would break it down is like, would I understand this? Because
Sure.
honestly, I'm not technical at all. And
Hmm.
everyone's like, how do you communicate that? And I'm like, well, whatever I have to teach myself to learn how
Sure.
to do this is what I'm
Yeah.
telling people because I don't understand a lot of things. So I'm like, do I understand it? Would my mom understand it? Would my grandma understand it? There's like those three filters of like who would actually understand. So I
Hmm.
don't actually do a lot of technical, and I don't do any news stories that they can't take action on. Like if it's just
Sure.
something to scare them, I'm like, I'm not going to report
You're
this.
not
Like there's
touching
not,
it.
or if it's super technical, right? Like, or there's a lot of times there's like data breaches at companies that like don't impact the consumer. And I'm like, well, I could explain what's going on, but what's the point? Because I'm just scaring people into thinking like, oh, I potentially use them, but they didn't have it doesn't relate to the consumer.
Yeah.
So I've been very much veering clear of like more of the technical, and there's amazing content creators out there that are doing more technical. And I'm like, that's really not, I don't think that's my lane anymore.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't feel like it was ever my lane. That was me trying to like, again, be more technical. I'm not a
Hmm.
technical person. I'm like a
Yeah.
everyday user. Here's what you need to do. So
Yep.
I steer clear of like really technical stuff that doesn't impact consumer. And if it's a big headline, even if it doesn't, I'll explain like why it wouldn't impact. But usually big headlines I'll still do and explain like here's what you need to do. Like don't
Yeah.
worry about it.
Yeah. I
Boom.
like that you keep it really action oriented because
Right.
that, that then somebody knows like, yeah, maybe when you post a video, there's something I have to do, but at least they know what to do about it, right?
Right. I will never
Um,
want to be that. I don't think I've ever posted a video where you don't have
have some sort of
action
action.
tips because
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm one of those people. I want to know what happened, how it impacts me, and what I need to do. And then that's it.
Exactly. As
That's
a
all I
good
need to do.
formula. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. You talked a little bit about this, but putting yourself out there, it's never easy. It's always, like a little cringe. You get a range of feedback. You kind of mentioned that. As far as audience reactions and how you react to it, how have you grown, like personally, professionally, from the feedback that you've gotten over the years?
Oh, that's a really good question. I don't know if I've necessarily grown. I've just gotten thicker skin. Um,
Fair.
and Well, the first thing I want to say is no one's going to advocate for you better than yourself.
Mm,
And if you're already embarrassed of advocating for yourself, then you're not going to get anywhere. And especially in this crazy like tech landscape where you have to constantly be pitching for yourself.
yeah.
And so that's one thing I learned is like, yeah, I don't like posting on LinkedIn. I feel extra cringy, but all of my biggest clients, or like not clients, but like all of the companies that I work with, all the biggest ones have all been from LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And again, I don't like doing it, but it's so, so important for you to advocate for yourself. And even to this day, like another tip I would tell people is unfortunately, we live in a world of visibility, right?
Mm,
It's all optics.
hmm.
And especially if you're trying to get a job, if you're not posting about yourself, who you are, what you're proud of, what you're excited about, no one's going to know who you are, and your resume is just going to drift off into the abyss. Like you can't just keep dropping resumes and hoping for the best. Like you really have to build your brand because that will make you stand out over every other candidate. So I always tell people like when you're new in the space, like find people that you like aspire to be, connect with them. If they approve your follow, great. I don't approve anyone that I haven't met right now. It's just like my rule.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people that do. I mean, LinkedIn is a place for connection. So I would connect with them. I would write them a little letter saying, a little message saying, "Hey, I'm really interested in this area,
Hmm.
and I really want to connect with you just to see how you grow or whatever." Like, not a selfish thing at all. Not saying, "Hey, I want to drop my resume to you," but and then like when they connect with you, or even if they don't, they might start seeing your posts, and you'll start becoming more familiar to them.
Yeah.
And it's a lot easier to get jobs or like continue to network. Like your network is so, so important. And I hate saying this, but your network in cyber is your net worth. Like literally everything
Yeah.
that I've gone to is because of my network,
Yeah.
including Danielle. Like there's every step of my cybersecurity journey involves other people.
Yeah.
And you won't get to other people, especially in the day and age that we live in, if
Hmm.
you're not connecting with them on LinkedIn, if you're not connecting with them at in-person
In
events.
person. Yeah.
And so if you're not advocating for yourself on your own platform, people aren't going to know who you are or really care, which is really sad.
Yeah.
So I think that's the biggest thing I've learned is like just be okay and comfortable with like the cringe. Because I still like every time I post on LinkedIn, I'm like, this is so, so cringy. But I know it's for the best.
It's a necessary evil, especially right now. Like I think that's
Yeah.
great advice just to build your brand, figure out what that is. Like a lot of us are still, even into my 40s now, like figuring out what exactly is that, and then figuring out your building your network and then fostering that, like continuing because it takes, you got to like water the plant to keep it growing,
Yeah,
right?
we have like a LinkedIn challenge on our in our career club about posting every day for I think it's a month. We start
Okay.
for a week. And I know people are getting get like really cringy, but in our career club, like you post what you posted and then they go and like it and like kind of hype you
Oh,
up.
okay, yeah.
So it's like a network of people. So it goes to more people. But I just think it's the most underrated way of getting a job is your network.
Yeah.
And especially right now. And if
Mm.
you're not showing up for yourself every day, then who's showing up for you?
Yeah, no, I think that's great advice. The other thing, just getting back to like cyber risks, and this is, talking about the environment now, like we're in such a fast changing environment. Risks are evolving every single day, right? What emerging threats, as you see it, should your everyday person be paying more attention to?
Yeah. I mean, obviously I want to say AI.
Yeah.
I think AI is where cybersecurity was like when I started like 14,
Hmm.
15 years ago.
Yeah.
And no one really knows. It's definitely the blind leading the blind. There's complete different definitions of how AI is defined. Agentic AI. Everyone has different terms to make
Yeah.
them
Yep.
seem, cooler, ahead of the curve. It's not. They're all the same. And so if you honestly, I always tell my cyber career club group, I'm like, if you were to disappear for an entire month and just watch and there's so much free content out there with AI
Oh,
right
yeah.
now. I mean, there's so much free content with cyber too, but I'm like, if you were to disappear for a month and just spend the normal workday, 40 hours a week, ingesting every type of AI,
Mm.
following AI content creators, because cybersecurity, you can't have cyber or you can't have AI without cyber. So if you actually understand how AI works, then you can also understand how to protect it, right? Or
Yeah.
understand how to communicate it. And that is so, so important in companies today, and they don't know who to hire. Like I
Yeah.
think they're just like randomly picking me, like, well, we're all going to learn on the job. So I think I mean, I don't think, I know it's AI. I mean, there's so many other things too. I think third party risk it's not like a new technology, but we see, the Salesforce issue and that created, 4 or 5 major data breaches at different companies. Like third party risks, I mean, you can see SolarWinds, pretty much every large data breach involved a third party,
Sure.
CrowdStrike. Um,
Yeah.
and so I think third party risk is super underrated. And then privacy. I think this is a really, really interesting field to get into. There's been a lot of surveillance. We have Palantir coming up.
Hmm.
Um, if you want to protect the people, I think it's an interesting area to go into. Or if you want to protect companies, it's also super interesting. Trying
Yeah.
to figure out like who has responsibility of protecting consumer data, all of that stuff. I think it's the surveillance landscape in the last year and a half has been insane.
Yeah.
And I don't like saying that. It was always a little sketchy, but I mean, you can just see that
The way it's
what's going
changing.
on. Yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned AI being a big one, and that's an area personally I've been like really diving into lately.
Yeah.
Do you have books, podcasts, resources? Like if somebody were to disappear for a month, I don't know who could do that, but if they were, what
Yeah.
would you recommend they dive into?
Yeah, so I would say, I mean, I think Udemy and Coursera all have free courses. I'm
Yep.
pretty sure like Harvard and Stanford offer free like AI certification courses that you can
Hmm.
take. I think there's a girl named, I forgot, Ali something, and she has like over 1 million followers on LinkedIn, and she's like an AI person. And she just went on the Mel Robbins podcast to talk about AI. I don't know
Okay.
when that will be released, but she's an influencer that I follow in the AI space
Okay.
as well as I think her name's Sinead. She's in Canada, Sinead. I'm totally blanking
Hmm.
on her name, her full name. But she's also incredible in the AI space that I love following. I also just like love following women. Um, but I would honestly, I mean, if you just search or like you Google dork, like, Google dork, AI courses, free AI courses, or even PDFs, or pretty much anyone to follow. I think it's just an interesting, I have a feeling you'll have an abundance of
Yeah.
even like YouTube videos.
And you talked a little bit before about like certifications maybe not being worth the time. Do you think that's a difference in this in the AI space in particular?
Right. The only
Yeah.
certification that I'm aware of in AI right now
Hmm.
is the IAPP um, AIGP. So it's AI governance professional, I think it means.
Okay.
And that is goes through the AI laws and rules and regulations around
Mm,
the world, which there aren't that many right now.
right.
Um, but I think that certification would actually matter because again, there's not a lot of AI
Yeah.
certifications. Um, I took the I took the course, but I haven't taken the test yet.
Yeah. That's always
But
the hard part.
yeah, I'm like, I don't have the time. I'll do it later.
Yeah.
And later
I'll get
comes, and I'm
to
like,
it.
let me just take a break. So I think there are I mean, I don't think it matters.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone really knows what good certifications there. I mean, that's the only one I know, and I'm
Yeah.
in the AI space. But
But there's a
even
lot
if
of
you get
learning
like
that
a
can be done.
certificate,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you're posting about it and you're really excited about it. People are like, oh, I'll try that one, or that's awesome.
Right.
They don't know what's good and what's bad. So I think because it's like literally the Wild West out there when it comes to AI, I don't think there's anything that you could do that would be a bad thing. Like everything
Yeah.
is good.
Just soak it all in. That's kind
Yeah.
of what I'm doing. That's been my tactic.
Yeah. Well, and I think, I mean, again, this goes back to like LinkedIn, right? Like there were
Yeah.
times where I was taking AI courses and I was like, oh, everyone's defining things differently. And I
Mm.
was really tempted to write like a long LinkedIn post or write like a series of LinkedIn posts about like, oh, this is defined as this, but is it really this? And kind of get conversations going. Like you don't have to write like static, boring posts. You can like ask people's opinion. You can get people to like chime in. Like there's so many
Yeah.
really cool ways to
To engage.
engage with
Yeah.
your not I don't like saying followers, your connections and your
Hmm.
friends and your colleagues. So I think there's a really interesting way to like spin AI that like I haven't really seen a lot of people do. I just haven't had the chance to do it. But
Yeah, yeah. Um, in terms of like other advice, right? Like what you a lot of what you do is giving people advice on actions they can take, right?
right,
I am so embarrassed to admit this, but I also feel like it's good to be honest with ourselves.
right.
Until I worked in cybersecurity, I was using the same password on every
Yeah.
account since like 2002. Maybe like a little bit of variance here and there, but I
It's convenient.
definitely that was like a big wake up call for me to like, get a password manager, start using passkeys, multi-factor authentication, like all of that good stuff. But when there are so many different ways of scamming, AI is getting really, really good at, at tricking people. What are the easiest steps that you recommend people take right now, like today, if they do one thing today to
Oh
keep
no, the
themselves
one
safer?
thing question.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm basically gonna say what SZA said a long time ago, which is like passwords and multi-factor, like turn those on and make sure that they're strong and unique. And I always say, for the general public, I understand that passwords are very difficult. So maybe identify your key accounts and make unique passwords for those key accounts. You don't have to do it for every single account, but um, and then the other thing is just avoid giving your information out. Like, I don't know
Mm.
why we always want to like add an account. Like, just check out as a guest, okay? Even if you buy stuff on Amazon, you don't have to have your real name. Just have, as long as they have your address, it's going to get shipped to the right place.
Hmm.
I think there's a really interesting thing that we might want to start teaching our kids is to like, there's a really cool like it's just cool to like not have all your information out. Like we can protect ourselves a lot easier if we don't have to give all of our personal and you don't. And then also just like deleting your data from data brokers and stuff like my how to delete your data series, I think
Yeah.
is super, super important. And then I think the biggest thing, honestly, is freeze your credit. Because everyone's like, oh, I don't want identity theft. And, there's so many data breaches now that all of our social security numbers are out. If you freeze your credit, which takes like maybe 20 minutes of your life to go to
Yeah.
all three credit bureaus, no one's going to be able to open a credit card in your name because your credit is frozen. So I would just take that extra step because I feel a lot more comfortable, one, deleting my data, two, having my credit frozen. They don't have that information to just
Yeah.
scam me. And then when you delete your phone number and stuff, it's not showing up on all these public sites where scammers can then use it to your advantage. So I get
Yeah.
significantly less scam calls, significantly less scam emails because I don't ever give, I usually temporary emails or,
Yeah.
so just, yeah, be mindful of who you're giving your data to, and then, yeah, like take some necessary precautions like the multi-factor password and then like freezing your accounts.
Yeah. And I found a password manager to be hugely helpful in that.
Oh,
Like, I
convenient.
don't have to think of the password or remember the password. It's going to do that for me, which is great.
I will say it is a little frustrating for people to set up password managers.
Yeah.
So get over that hump, and then it gets so
Once
much
you,
easier.
it gets better. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
One of your missions too, Caitlin, is to encourage more women to join the field and then stay in it. So what does it look like to get more women into cybersecurity? What does it look like beyond recruitment?
Yeah. So when I started in cyber, I saw women, not a lot of them. I did see women, but they weren't women that I would like aspire to be. Like
Hmm.
for me, I'm like I want a family. I want to like, be able to kind of work and have a life.
Yeah.
And I didn't see that a lot. And I think there's actually a lot of women now going into cyber as a career, but because companies aren't as lenient or as flexible as
Hmm.
maybe say the European countries with, maternity leave or anything like that,
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of women drop off before they hit leadership. And so as I want to inspire the next generation, obviously, to get in. Now I'm starting to see as I've gotten older that there's not a lot of women left, even if there was more that got on. And I
Hmm.
do want to preface this. I want the right person for the job, whether that's a man or a woman.
Sure.
I don't want to hire women just because they're women. Because one, that sets up a circle for imposter syndrome. I remember when I first started, I'm like, was I just hired because I was a woman or because I was actually qualified? And then it made me
Mm.
really start thinking like, am I qualified enough? And
Yeah.
I all those doubts. Like you want every single person wants to know they got the job because
Because
they
they're qualified.
deserve the job
Yeah.
and they're qualified for the job.
Yeah.
So I don't want
So
these
it's
like
getting more
DI.
women qualified, right?
Right. So we need to get more women qualified and excited about cyber or STEM fields. And two, we need to create a working environment that allows people to have a little bit of a life, especially for females, or maybe even have like part-time roles or whatever. And I didn't really see those happening. So that's why I
Mm.
kind of started doing the social media because I was like, I can't keep doing this. Like I
Yeah.
am like climbing the corporate ladder all the time. I'm constantly on. And to be honest, that was a me thing too. I didn't know how to push back. Like I was
Mm.
like, I do want what's best for every company I work for. I want to work my hardest. I want to be the best at what I can be. I want to be the first one in and the last one out. But that really didn't allow me to have a personal life.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to start this to even give me an opportunity to actually like date people and like find
Yeah.
my
And have a
person and
life.
right, have a
Yeah.
family.
So some of that, it sounds like, was like really boundary setting for yourself.
Yeah. I think women
Yeah.
also need to learn how to do boundaries. And I
Yeah.
say
It's
that
hard.
I won't say I won't blanket statement for everyone, but I did not know how to do boundaries. I still am
Hmm.
pretty bad at boundaries, but I'm working on it.
It's a work in
Yeah.
progress.
Yeah.
Or check back in like a year and see how that's going for you.
I don't think it's gonna go well. It's also hard to have boundaries now that it's my own company. I'm like, well, now I really
That's
want to work because
for
I'm so
sure.
passionate about it. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think you kind of touched on this a little bit. There are some great initiatives right there out there now, like supporting women and other underrepresented groups in cybersecurity, but retention is still a big challenge, right? So what programs, communities, et cetera, have you seen that are like successfully supporting women and other groups to really thrive in their cybersecurity careers? You kind of talked about like workplace flexibilities, but what other things do you think are out there that are helpful in retention?
I think this is helpful for not just women, but everyone. Everyone needs like like a mentorship group. And
Yeah.
everyone also needs like a good mentor in the company that they work for. Because I know so many people that are like, oh, like, my advisor or whatever really doesn't have my back. And that's not an environment that you want to be
Mm,
in.
yeah.
So if you have and I think that's a tone at the top, honestly. If the tone at the top is like, we are all inclusive, we want you to succeed here, we want what's best for you, we're going to fight for you, and you actually have that tone. I think, unfortunately, right now, because there's so many layoffs happening, there's a lot of pretty bad work environments in the tech space, at least for like the big tech companies. I'm not sure about the startups, but I think just having like a good mentoring group or like a community, and then again, if you don't have one, you can make it. Start
Yeah.
making one on LinkedIn. Start like
Yeah.
talking about like, hey, this is my been my struggle. Does anyone else struggle with this? Can we form a group? I know
Yeah.
Women in Cybersecurity or WeSys
Yep.
is really, really good for the younger generation. I go to that conference every year. I think it's amazing. I wish I had WeSys when I was maybe
Yeah.
in college. It wasn't a thing. But they're also starting to do more senior stuff, like senior leadership
Yeah.
lunches, stuff like that. And there's like individual groups like Cyber Guild that's in DC and
Hmm.
a lot of other amazing groups. And it doesn't necessarily need to be women groups, but women do see themselves. A lot of times it's easier for women to talk to other women about whatever they're struggling through. But I think just finding like a mentorship group or finding people that can support you because if you're doing it alone, it's very hard.
Yeah. I think representation matters. And I think like joining those groups is a great example of, seeing other women who are successful and getting into leadership roles and stuff like that. So that's great advice.
Yeah.
Caitlin, given how public your platform is, right? I imagine you've had to think very carefully about your own privacy. How do you keep your own data safe given your very public presence?
Yeah. I literally do all the tips that I tell people to do. So I have a password manager every single thing, and they're like very long passwords.
Yep.
I have multi-factor authentication for all my accounts. I check out as a guest wherever possible. I use a deletion service. I personally use a company called Incogni because it's international and they
Right.
delete from more. They have like unlimited data removals. And so I lived in the UK and I'm like, certain companies are only US based. And so I recommend Incogni to everyone. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with them. I like the best day is when I get the report of how much information they deleted on me.
Yeah.
I have a safe word with my family. That's huge with the AI threats right now, especially the
Hmm.
scam calls. So
Yeah.
for those of you that don't know what a safe word is, people can take my voice. Obviously, my voice is everywhere online, and they can kind of mash it up or create an AI version of my voice and pretend to call my parents and say, "Hey, I'm like, you know, I got lost or someone kidnapped
Hmm.
me and I need
I'm in the
money. Can you send-"
hospital. Yeah.
Right. I'm in the hospital, a car broke down, whatever it is.
Hmm.
And all my parents have to do is, hey, what's the safe word? And they'll know if I'm really me or if it's someone else. I mean, it's pretty
Yeah.
unique. It's like a
Okay.
safe sentence.
Yeah.
Um, but I think that's also really key if you're in the public
Yeah.
eye. And then again, just like I don't connect to key accounts on public Wi-Fi. Like I don't do a lot of things on public. I make sure everything is kind of locked down.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I love that
Oh,
you're
software
following.
updates.
Oh, software updates. Yes,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
can't forget that. Very
Yeah.
important.
And
Make
I
them all
literally
bad.
never click on any links. Like even when people send me stuff on LinkedIn, oh, like look at this. No, sorry. Can you
Yeah.
explain to me what this is? I'm not going to click on it or let me like Google search it. Like what is it?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's great advice to remember too. You've got a lot going on right now. There's content education, advocacy projects. What projects are you most excited about right now?
Yeah. I mean, I'm always excited about my career club. I love it. There's like 160 members in, and we just started like a month and a half ago. So it's really getting people the mentorship that they need and the community that they need to get into cyber, figure out where they belong, and be encouraged by other people. We have study groups. We have office hours every week. We bring in guest speakers every month. So it's been really, really fun. I also am really excited. My Cyber Confessions podcast launches this month too. And
Okay.
it's not supposed to be a technical podcast. It's not normal. It's like a let's make cybersecurity like fun to listen to, which sounds
Yeah.
like an oxymoron,
No, I
but it's
love it.
me just handing over the mic to like really incredible individuals that have been working in the cyberspace and them telling us their most ridiculous, crazy stories that they've seen in cyber that just make it cybersecurity human, right? Like I'm not
Yeah.
trying to get a technical audience. I'm trying to make cybersecurity an everyday like have you ever seen like the murder mysteries and makeup podcast where you're just like
Yeah, yeah,
listening to
yeah.
them talk?
Yeah.
It's that.
Yes, I
It's
love
like
it.
that where you're just talking about interesting cyber things and making it more like relatable and fun.
Mm.
And they're short episodes. It's like I'm not going really back and forth. We're maybe 15 to 20 minutes, and that's
Yeah.
something that you can listen to while you're on a walk or something.
Awesome. I can't wait to
Um,
check that out.
yeah, so I'm excited about that. And then obviously we launched a newsletter which goes to like 20, almost 26,000 people. It has really almost a 50% open rate, which I'm like honored. So
Awesome.
that's supposed to like again
Yeah.
more general public stuff, breaking cybersecurity down on a very it's not technical. And then yeah, I just there's so many amazing things. Lots of travel, lots of partnerships that we're working on. But I mean, just stay tuned. If you follow my channels on Cybersecurity Girl on Instagram, on TikTok, or my LinkedIn channel, you'll stay up to date.
Well, perfect. Where can people go to find Cybersecurity Girl and follow all the things that you're doing?
Yeah. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram is all Cybersecurity Girl. Just at Cybersecurity Girl, no spaces or anything. And then LinkedIn is just my name, Caitlin Sarian. So yeah, I mean, all that stuff is super easy to, hopefully super easy to find, and I'm just really excited about what's to come.
Perfect. Caitlin, I'm so excited to continue following you and seeing what you're going to do next. I can't wait to listen to the podcast. Of course, I'm going to keep following your tips online and on mostly on Instagram and LinkedIn. I'm not a big TikToker, but
I get you.
I,
Most cybersecurity people aren't.
I love all your content. I hope everyone will take some of your advice, take some action to keep their data safe online. And thank you again for all that you're doing to help people stay safer online.
Thanks so much. I appreciate you having me.
And that's a wrap on this episode of Careers and Coffee Talk. Big thanks to our guest today for pouring out so many great insights. And hey, thanks to you for hanging out with us. If this episode gave you a little jolt of inspiration or made your day a little bit more brewed and balanced, be sure to click that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming up next. Got a minute? Drop me a 5-star review. It's basically the podcast equivalent of buying me a fancy oat milk latte. Quick disclaimer though, the views expressed in this episode are personal and do not reflect those of any organization. This conversation is not an endorsement of any company, product, or service. It's just real talk over virtual coffee, okay? So until next time, stay curious, stay caffeinated, and keep chasing the career that makes you feel the most alive. Catch you next time.